الحمد لله رب العالمين له النعمة وله الفضل وله الثناء الحسن صلوات الله البر الرحيم والملائكة المقربين على سيدنا محمد الصادق الوعد الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه الطيبين الطاهرين لله تعالى. All right. So let's get started right away. Question. If a person knew that a specific cassette tape produces blasphemy by playing it in the machine, is it permissible for the person to play it without a citation, Adatul-Hikayah, or not? I mean, without quoting it, without citing it, without saying it was said, without saying so-and-so said. So is it permissible for him to play this cassette tape that produces blasphemy, and he knows that when he presses play, blasphemy will occur? Can he just press play and let the blasphemy occur without citing it or not? Also, what is the judgment if the device is a computer, television, or what is similar to that? Answer. Praise and thanks are due to Allah, the Lord of all creation. And may Allah raise the rank of our Master Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam and protect his nation from that which he feared for them. Thereafter, if a blasphemous expression is in a book, and then a person opened the book to look with his eyes at this blasphemous expression, without reading it aloud with his tongue, so he didn't make a new blasphemous expression with his tongue that's different from the original blasphemous expression written in the book. Okay? If a blasphemous expression is in a book, and then a person opened the book to look with his eyes at this blasphemous expression without reading it aloud with his tongue, he does not need to mention a quoting statement. That is, he does not need to cite the blasphemy that he's looking at. He does not need to mention a quoting statement or a citation before this doing of opening the book and looking with his eye at the statement of blasphemy, the statement of kufr. Because by his opening the book, he is not writing the blasphemy, nor is he initiating the blasphemy. His doing is merely looking at what was written by someone else. Now, why are we starting here? Because this is like an origin or a basis to help you understand the case. If blasphemy is written in a book, and you open the book and you see the blasphemy, and you don't pronounce that blasphemous word that you see written there, and you don't write that blasphemous word that was written there, you just open up the book to encounter some blasphemy that's already been in there before you even opened the book. So you didn't actually initiate or generate any new blasphemy. That blasphemy was already there. Whoever wrote the book put that blasphemy there. Now, whether he cited it or not is another issue. The point is, you didn't do it. His doing is merely looking at what was written by someone else. Is that clear so far? However, if a person photocopies blasphemous speech with the device called the photocopier and whatever is like it, without citation, without quoting it or referencing it, then he blasphemes. He commits kufr. Why? Because he generated a new kufr. If he had only just opened the book and looked at the kufr that was already there, he didn't make any kufr. But just like it's not permissible to say kufr, it's not permissible to write kufr or make any production of kufr. It's all the same. I mean, saying it, writing it is the same thing, meaning it's the same judgment. The scholar said the pen is the second tongue. The pen is the second tongue. Whatever is haram to say is haram to write. And now we have machines that just copy the writing. If that writing was haram, you don't copy also that haram writing. And if the writing is kufr, you don't copy the kufr for sure. And produce a new copy of the kufr without citing it. If you cite it, then you're safe. Just like when you talk with your tongue. If you say with your tongue, the Christians say Jesus is God, then you don't blaspheme. That's not kufr on you because you cited it. But if someone were to just come and say Jesus is the Son of God, then he said a blasphemous statement. Kufr. And if you were to write, the Christians say Jesus is the Son of God, you don't blaspheme. But if someone were to just write with no citation, Jesus is the Son of God, that's a shirk, that's kufr to write that. And likewise, you can't copy that. Don't put that on a photocopier. Don't put the statement, for example, if someone took a piece of paper and wrote, Jesus is the Son of God, only, with no citation, and then he put it on a photocopier to photocopy that, then when that kufr comes out, that's blasphemy. He committed a new kufr because he generated a new kufr. Likewise is the judgment of a photographic device from which the image of blasphemous writing is generated when initiating the device. Equally, if one copies blasphemous speech from a book with his own handwriting, without citation, he blasphemes, even if he imitates another person's handwriting with his handwriting. His imitating another person's handwriting doesn't save him from the blasphemy. And subhanAllah, don't you know, brothers and sisters, there are people who, they don't like any of what's being said right now, and they actually think that it's okay for them to write kufr expressions without citing them. They think there's no problem with them just, for example, writing Jesus is the Son of God, or for example, just writing there is no God and the world is all material, just writing it with no citation. Blatant statements of blasphemy, they think they can do that. Wal-'iyadhu billah. Similarly, if he speaks blasphemous talk without a citation, he blasphemes, even if he changes his voice to imitate the voice of another person. According to the rules we have just mentioned, opening a computer file also has the same judgment, as well as pressing play on a cassette tape, playing the compact discs, and whatever is similar to them. In this issue, there are two cases. This issue of playing a cassette tape, playing a CD, or something like that. The first case is the case of the one who believes that as a result of pressing play, or pressing the button, or turning it on, that the blasphemy will take place without that blasphemous statement having been previously existent. So here, what this means is, go back to the case of the book. If a book has kufr written in it, and you did not open the book, is that kufr existing in the book before you open the book? Or does the kufr appear when you open the book? What's the answer? Is the kufr existing before you open the book? Or is it not existing until you open the book and then when you open the book it appears? Which one? It's already existing. The question was, we want to understand now the case of playing a cassette tape or a DVD or a CD that has kufr in it. If you press play, kufr will appear. There's details here. To understand these details, refer back to the origin we started with, the book. Now, let's say there's a blasphemous statement in a book. Let's say that someone wrote a book, he said in his book that Allah is in a place. That's kufr. Now, my question to you is that kufr existing in the book before you actually open it up? Or is that kufr not existing until you open the book, and then when you open the book, the kufr appears? Which one? It's already there. Right. That's why when you just open the book only, you don't have to say, he said, by just opening the book, because you didn't produce any kufr that wasn't already there. But what about a cassette tape or a DVD? There's two cases. The first case is the case of the one who believes that as a result of pressing play, that the blasphemy will take place without that blasphemous statement having been previously existent. He believes that he has a CD or a DVD or a cassette tape, and the blasphemy is not actually existing in that device, in that object. If this is the person's conviction that no blasphemy existed before pressing play, he believes that when he presses play, it's because of the machine interacting with the device. He puts this DVD into the machine, and then the DVD starts to spin, and the machine hits the DVD with some kind of laser, and it translates codes, and then sounds come out of a speaker. But as for the DVD all by itself, he doesn't believe that there's actually a blasphemy inside the DVD. So he doesn't think about it like a book. So if this is the person's conviction that no blasphemy existed before pressing play, then he must use a citation before turning it on if he wants to escape falling into blasphemy. And remember, we're talking about a person who knows that blasphemy is going to appear if he presses play. Not talking about a person who doesn't know. Let's see who asked me throughout the course of this lesson, what if the person didn't know? We're not talking about the person who did not know that blasphemy would appear when he pressed play. We're only talking about the person who knew that blasphemy would appear when he pressed play. So, if this is the person's conviction that no blasphemy existed before pressing play, then he must use a citation before turning it on if he wants to escape falling into blasphemy. This is because the person does not believe that the sound is already existing and contained inside the cassette, the computer, etc. He does not believe that the device is like a locker containing blasphemous words. He does not believe that the computer already has the blasphemous writing in it. Rather, his conviction in this case is that he is initiating the blasphemy by his doing. And he believes that, for example, he has a laptop. And in this laptop he has files. And in some of those files there's blasphemous statements. He doesn't believe that while the laptop is off, that there's actual blasphemous words inside of his laptop. Rather, he believes that he needs to turn his laptop on and then open the file, and all of that involves like codes being read, some process, electronic codes generating an image onto his screen, and then the blasphemy appears. So he doesn't believe that his laptop is like a locker holding a blasphemous word, or to resort back to what we started with, he doesn't believe that his laptop is like a book that already has the blasphemous statement confirmed written in it. In this case, he needs to say "they say" or any valid citation. His belief is that what exists in this device is merely codes and signals, and that his doing is what generates the blasphemy. Is that clear so far? According to what we have just now said, that is, according to the person's conviction that the blasphemy is not existing in the device before he initiates the device, if a person wants to record a cassette tape, to duplicate the cassette tape or the computer file, etc., meaning without sound, just duplicating the file, duplicating the cassette tape without sound, or transfer a file from one location to another, from one folder to another, or from one computer to another without sound, then he does not need a citation, because he believes that he is only transferring codes and signals. Clear? It's clear? I'm going to keep asking you, brothers and sisters, if it's clear. No. Someone said, no, it's not clear. So, what this means is, let's say, for example, you have a CD. Okay? And on this CD, if you were to press play on this CD, some blasphemy would appear. Okay? But the CD all by itself, you don't believe that the CD is like a locker containing a sound, and that blasphemous sound is like just stuck inside the CD. You don't believe that it's like that. You believe that this CD is just, if it's containing anything, it's just an access to codes and signals, and that the CD itself needs to actually interact with a device. And that when the CD interacts with that device and the codes and signals are interpreted, then when the sound comes out of the speaker, the blasphemy appears. Okay? You with me? Now, so you're believing that, in this situation, you're believing that this CD is not actually literally holding a blasphemous statement in it. So if you wanted to duplicate this CD and make another copy of it, then what do you believe that you're actually duplicating? You don't believe that you're duplicating a blasphemous statement. Now you believe in reality that you're just duplicating codes and signals that need to be interpreted. And that your second CD is not going to actually be holding any blasphemous statement, but rather it needs to interact with a device so that those codes and signals will be interpreted, and then the sound will come out of the speaker. You understand? Okay. So since you believe that you're only transferring signals, that what you're really duplicating is signals and codes, and that you're not really in reality duplicating a blasphemous sound, a blasphemous sentence, then you do not need to make a citation. You don't need to make a citation when you make your duplicate. You understand? That if a person doesn't believe that his CD is actually holding the blasphemy, a blasphemous statement inside of it, and that it's in reality codes, then when he copies that CD without sound, of course, just copying the codes and signals of the CD, he doesn't need a quoting statement. He doesn't need to cite it. When he presses record or copy, he doesn't have to say they say and then press copy. Did you understand that? Okay, so let me continue. The second case is for him to believe that the blasphemous expression already exists in the device. It is already contained and locked in the cassette tape or compact disc before pressing play. He believes it is already contained in there, locked away. Then when he presses play or turns it on, he believes that this doing only made him encounter what was already existing. But he does not believe he generated blasphemy that was not already there. Instead, to him, turning this device on or pressing play is like opening a book to see what was already existing in it. He does not blaspheme in this case if he presses play without saying a citation. So to him, the cassette tape was like a book. Just like the book already had the statement of blasphemy in it, and when he opened the book, he became exposed to it. He believes that his cassette tape already has the blasphemous statement. He believes, for example, that somehow that blasphemous statement is stuck to that cassette tape. And when he presses play, he encounters it just like if he opens a book. And it was already existing in the cassette tape or the CD. So in this case, he does not blaspheme if he presses play without a citation. Because to him, pressing play was like opening a book. To him, pressing play was like opening a book and seeing what was already existing. Is that clear? In this case, in case he wants to duplicate this blasphemy on the device to another device, then he needs a religiously valid citation, either before initiating or after finishing, while having previously intended to cite it before starting. Because he believes that now he is initiating new blasphemy, whether it was a sound or a writing. An example is to say, now I record the misguidance of so-and-so. Okay, so now the other case is that a person has a cassette tape and he does believe that this cassette tape is holding the blasphemous sound like a book. He does believe that this cassette tape or this CD or that his laptop really is containing the blasphemous expression in it. And that when he turns it on, to him, turning on his machine is just like opening a book. He's only becoming exposed to something that was previously existing in it. Is that much clear? Okay, so now if he wants to duplicate this, he wants to make a copy of it, then what does he believe he's doing? He believes that he's copying, he's making a new blasphemy, isn't it? Because he believed that the blasphemy was already existing in the previous one, in the first one, in the original one. Just like a book. So if he wants to copy that, then he must be believing then that he's making a new kufr. So in this case, he needs to do a citation. He needs to say, so-and-so said, or he needs to say, now I record the misguidance of so-and-so. Therefore, the judgment of this act is built upon the person's conviction. Is it blasphemy or is not blasphemy? It depends on the person. However, in reality, the people who are knowledgeable of these devices said that there is no sound contained in and already existing in these machines, and no writing already existed in them. Instead, in these machines are codes, signs, and signals, and this is what Sheikh Abdullah was last upon. Is that clear? So the people who are experts about this or knowledgeable about this, they say that the reality is that no, there are no actual sounds contained inside the CD or contained inside your laptop or contained inside the cassette tape. It's just codes and signals, and you need to, you know, turn it on, and it needs, that CD needs to interact with the device, etc. But a layperson might not understand that, and he might think that actually this CD or cassette tape or VHS tape, if you want, is really containing, holding the blasphemous expression, just like a book, just like the words written on a book. Question: if you pause a tape, wanted to replay it again, do you have to say someone may say again? Do you know that blasphemy is going to be generated? Do you know that then you need to cite it? Is that a new initiation of blasphemy? If that's a new initiation of blasphemy and you know that, then you need to cite it. Hence, if a person wants to play a cassette tape, compact disc, or the computer in a way that because of playing it, a blasphemous expression is generated, whether it was a sound or writing, if a person wants to play a cassette tape, compact disc, or the computer in a way that because of playing it, a blasphemous expression is generated, whether it was a sound or a writing, without a citation along with it, and we do not know his conviction in this issue, then he is advised to produce a citation. That means don't rush and call him a kafir. As for his judgment, whether or not he blasphemes, this depends on the aforementioned details stated in the answer. Don't rush and say, you press play and you let blasphemy come out and you didn't say he said. You don't know the person's conviction. And you don't know, maybe he did say he said. If you see somebody have something blasphemous on his Facebook, for example, don't rush and say he committed blasphemy. For all you know, he said they say, and then he pressed the button and it appeared on the computer. In reference to the television, it seems that there is no one who believes that the writing that appears on the screen existed previously within the television before turning it on, right? Even children, maybe a child would believe that. And even very likely a child doesn't even believe that. Right? So in reference to the television, it seems that there is no one who believes that the writing that appears on the screen existed previously within the television before turning it on. According to this, whoever believes that when he turns it on, a blasphemous expression will appear written on his screen, but without any citation, such as the name of the broadcasting station appearing on the corner of the screen, for example, then to escape blasphemy, the person must say a valid citation when he turns it on. Okay? So a person, your average person, does not believe that whatever is appearing on his television screen was already existing inside of his television, and so that when he turns his TV on, it's just like opening a book. No. Your average person does not believe that. So anyone who knows that any blasphemous writing that will appear on his screen was not previously existing in his television, and he knows that if he turns his television on, that blasphemous writing will appear on his television, and he knows that there won't be any citation along with it, like the name of the station broadcasting the blasphemy is not there. Oh, you said, how about if he didn't know the citation was there, but it was there? So then, that means what? Does he believe that it's cited or not? Not. Does he know that if he turns it on, blasphemy will appear? No. Well, then if he doesn't know, then there's no question in the first place. Right? Because remember I said in the beginning, all we talk about is the one who knows. If he doesn't know blasphemy is going to appear, then there's no problem in the first place. If I turn on the radio to listen to the news, I want to hear the weather. I turn on the radio to hear the weather, and then when I turn the radio on, some guy says Jesus is the Son of God. I had no idea he was going to say that. That doesn't make me blaspheme. I didn't have to cite the weather guy. I have to say if he says, because I'm afraid blasphemy is going to appear. You know, it's not like that. And that's actually an important point, because a lot of our brothers and sisters, they just, I mean, what do? They just, when they turn the TV on, they say. Okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong, nothing haram about that. But at least understand the judgment. Previously, when I gave this lesson to some people, they said, can we just say they say every time we turn the TV on? Well, you can. That's your choice. But if what you're asking me is, can I just not think about these rules and just say they say every time I turn the TV on? Then I seriously don't advise you to be like that, because you need to understand the rules of the religion. Understand. Don't just say, hey, wait, I don't want to think about it, man. I don't want to think. I don't want to know. I'm going to just say they say every time I turn something on. And then they burden every other person to always say they say every time they turn on anything. They say, don't turn that radio on without saying they say. Don't turn that TV on without saying they say. Don't turn that. Fellas, you're the one who don't want to understand the rules. Because if you don't know that some blasphemy is going to appear, you don't have to cite it. The only reason you're citing is to avoid blasphemy. And the only reason you have to cite to avoid blasphemy is if you knew there was going to be blasphemy. As for the one who believes that when he turns on the television or video that the image of a person who is speaking blasphemy will appear, and in that case he did not use a valid quoting statement, then he does not commit blasphemy, because it is as if the image of the person talking is in itself an expression of the one saying the blasphemy. What that statement means is, if a person believes that the video, not talking about a still image, not a still picture, a video, moving picture with sound, if he believes that the video is the expression of the speaker, it means, in other words, for example, he's watching the news and he sees an image, a moving image with sound of a news anchorman. To him, if to him this image is basically that guy, then if he does not cite it, it's not blasphemy. Do you understand? We're talking about the moving image, the moving video with sound, not a still picture with sound. Like you see, for example, on YouTube a lot, someone just puts a picture. There's no movement. It's not like a video. And then there's sound in the background. Not like that. Like when you see a TV or movie. And we're not talking about cartoons, because when it comes to the cartoon, the person does not believe that the image he's seeing is the speaker. He does not believe that the image he's seeing is really represents the one who's saying the words. You understand that? We're not talking about a cartoon, because when it comes to the cartoon, the person does not believe that the image he's seeing truly represents the one who spoke. Same thing when it comes to like overdub. If I'm watching Kung Fu, old Kung Fu flick, and the lip sync is horrible, the people are, their lips are moving, but they're talking English, I don't believe that the image I see, the image of the person I see, is really represents the speaker. So it doesn't work. So let me read that again. As for the one who believes that when he turns on the television or video, that the image of a person who is speaking blasphemy will appear, and in that case he did not use a valid quoting statement, he does not commit blasphemy, because it is as if the image of the person talking is itself an expression of the one saying the blasphemy. Likewise is the judgment of the one who duplicates the image from a book by way of the photocopier or the like. And he started by duplicating an image of the front cover that has a title, author, etc., and then he photocopies pages that have blasphemy. He does not blaspheme. So a person, he put the cover page or the cover on the photocopier, copied the cover page, which has the name of the author, for example, which that's the citation, saying this is the author. And then following up with that, he photocopies pages from that book. So if a person, he copies, let's say he wants to copy a book of Ibn Taymiyyah. He wants to show where Ibn Taymiyyah said that things are eternal with Allah. Kinds of things are eternal with Allah. So he copied the front cover with the name of the author, for example. And so that is the citation right there. That's the citation right there. And then he turns to the page with the blasphemy, and he copies that following the cover page that he just copied. Then this is saying that he does not blaspheme. It says the same is the case if someone duplicates the image of an identification card of a blasphemer, but on the card it says he's a Muslim. He does not blaspheme, because what is on the card is in reference to what exists in the government records. When we said that the person needs to come with a citation, it is not necessary that this would be an uttered word with his tongue. Rather, it is also valid to be written as long as it had a proper intention when written. And Allah the Exalted knows best. This information is not something new that the sheikhs came up with after the sheikh died, because it was compiled after his death. Rather, it was documented and compiled by the students of the sheikh from information that the sheikh had been teaching them for years and answers he had given in many situations throughout the years. It is the result of teamwork and following the footsteps of the students of the great imams who worked together after the death of their imam to spread his knowledge and benefit the people.